Here we go. So we are here, Adele Martin. Um, this is me, Kate Cherry, independent consultant with Arbonne International and multiple other little hats. And I have been doing a menopause month around the 18th of October. And it's really weird for me to be here because I'm usually behind the scenes, just getting this content out to people. But with Adele, we're doing this interview, well, not interview style, but recorded together style. So it's really great to be
Mm.
here. But it's not about me. So we're going to move on to Adele. Adele is our speaker today, and she is an executive midlife coach, and she also runs the Menopause Resilience Club. And I heard her speak a few months back, and I was just like, Adele, will you be one of my people? So she has loads of tips, and I'm just going to hand straight to her for her to go through her tips, and then she's going to wrap up with how you can engage with the Menopause Resilience Club
Mm.
and any help she can give you. So, Adele, what have you got for us?
Brilliant. Thanks, Kate. And thank you for inviting me on in Menopause Month. So, do you know what? I get asked, is there one thing around menopause that, that will make this a lot easier? You're like, mm-hmm. So, how do you even begin to share that? And to be fair, I have been now postmenopausal for 12 years and now I'm 52. So I've had a lot of time to think about what post-menopause means. But more importantly, for me, also understanding the run up to it, because we know that perimenopause can start after the age of 40. Our hormones do change, okay? And we know the average age of menopause is 51. That's about 11 years to go through this process. So I'm going to give you my three tips, but they all hang around the body, and it's about feeling stronger. So there is one thing as you start, and don't get me wrong, you can start this at 40 and you can start it when you know what, menopause isn't going to hit me and one day you go, oh my god, it's hit me. You can start this at any time. It's all about feeling stronger, and that is building a menopause muscle. So the three tips that sit behind that for me, the first one is food. Okay, and I reframe food as eat to perform. Unfortunately, I grew up in the slimming world, Weight Watchers world, where you had the Friday night trip to wherever you went in the hall and you stood on the scales. Even Weight Watchers are rebranded to WW because it isn't. We have to break that cycle. And unfortunately, when you've grown up as me, as that 70s, 80s, 90s child, that's what you're faced with. And so for me, it's about connecting with food and thinking about it as eat to perform. The other one is movement. And when we get to menopause, we sort of do a lot of sport. And then when we get to menopause, we fall into the camp of, I'm going to yoga my way out of it. You can't just do yoga. I'm going to run my way. I'll try to outrun it. You can't. It catches up with you, and we just all of a sudden we go with one thing and I'll share to the other. And the one is sleep. And I know women go, Adele, how can you even say sleep and menopause in the same sentence? You really have to focus on your sleep. So it is food, move, and snooze. And in terms of food, the number one tip out of that is protein, protein, and protein. When I look at women's food, diet plans, or when people share their food, there's not enough protein in that. And sometimes the levels we need, you can't always get it from food. I'm vegan, but so therefore I do use the Arbonne protein powder, and I've had a lot of protein powders in my life, but I'm dairy intolerant, and it's just one that doesn't bloat and float your stomach. And if you eat a lot of protein powders, you'll know what I mean. It doesn't. It's amazing. And also the other products around it, like I use a skin Xlair, the vitamin, all of that is just in one place. It makes it simple because food is key. But the first thing is think about it as eat to perform. And then in terms of the carbohydrates, a lot of women say, well, I'm gluten, I'm this. Always find out what you're intolerant to, not what your best friend is or the latest article. We're all different. And what I thought I was intolerant to is completely different to what I first thought. So always go and get the information. So for me, it's rethinking food and movements. There are four S's: strength training first. Then we do some cardio, and it's not hours and hours on the treadmill. Then we do our stretching through yoga. And then the last S is shimmy, and just to do some dance and some movement. But the ratio is, I'm 3 times into my strength training and just 2 on basic cardio. Building muscle is an absolute game changer for managing menopause. It is, and I'm taking that to the extreme in 3 and a bit weeks to show how you can build muscle still at 52. And actually, you can start building muscle at any age. And even if there's early signs of osteoporosis, it helps with all that whole skeletal. It really does. And again, that's conversation for another day. But please do not be scared of lifting weights, as you can see in my virtual gym behind me. And the last one is sleep. And as hard as it is, it's really thinking about sleep hygiene, about notifications, and just really focusing on that as well. But do you know what? If you get your food and your move sorted, your sleep goes really well. So women says to me, I can't sleep through the night, I'm having hot flushes. What supplement do you take? I say, right, what did you eat before you went to bed? Well, actually, I ate this, and this, and I had a glass of wine. Okay, right. Okay, let's try this. What was your well, I didn't really go out. I didn't do any training. So when you do actually fix your food and your sleep and your movement, actually, my clients go, sleep is relatively okay. Yes, it is. So it's fixing those things. But the thing is, you need to bring all three together, and that's where the magic happens. So to really keep the body, because this whole process is stressful anyway. The fact that you get up and you do your normal stuff and your hormones are changing in the background is just stress. So you wake up at a +1. If we then add additional stress to our body, you're just gonna, I call it the menopause wave. So the whole thing is keeping this thing as tension to grow our body and look after our body, but we can't stress it by all of a sudden go, I'm on menopause, I'm gonna not eat anything now, or I'm going to run days on end, and we end up going to the extreme. So for me, it's tension, not stress. But think about food as eat, perform. Think about movement as building your body and not punishment. And sleep, that's where the magic happens. That's a really quick synopsis of how I build muscle. And for me, it's a game changer to feel stronger, if that helps.
That's amazing, Adele. Thank you so much. Can I grab one little last tip out of you? You mentioned something about alcohols on and
Mm.
particular types of alcohol on yours. This is going to stretch it in time a little bit, but I just would love you to mention that as a fourth tip.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I have run countless studies in my group for the last, well, I've run myself for the last 12 years, but particularly my group for 3 years. When we have stripped out alcohol completely for a period of time, the symptoms like the hot flushes, the brain fog have been significantly improved. I mean, off the scale improved. And then if women go, actually, if I do go out and I want to have alcohol, then we go for really good quality clear spirits like gin and vodka. But do not damage that by putting a cheap, sweet lead tonic water in. Go for good quality artesian type of brands like Fever Tree and the London Tonic Company. Do that. And spritz it up an element. So everything in terms of alcohol is crisp and dry, and that does make a difference. Although as women feel the benefits of it, of no sort of alcohol, and then even perhaps have that gin, they don't like the way it makes them feel. So actually they go, I'm going to have that even less. And then if you are out, there are some really good, expensive champagne. So as I'm going to say, if I'm going to have alcohol, it's going to be a very crisp dry.
You see why I love that tip?
Because it's not sweet, it's not full of sugar, it's very dry, and it's not got all the artificial stuff in it either. So a good quality champagne. The same with chocolate, the higher grade chocolate, in terms of I eat 90 to 100% cacao, because it's just full of richness, and we haven't added the dairy and the sugar to turn it into milk chocolate. But alcohol is it's really important. For me, it's a game changer for women, and I've seen the benefits of the women in terms of their thinking and menopause. So seriously, if you are really, really struggling, then I always suggest we take alcohol and sugar out of the diet, because they're stressors and inflammatories, and then we work back up to it. And then women say, do you know what, I'm not going back there because I like how I feel now with that.
Too much.
So yeah,
That pain
absolutely.
point is
Yeah,
too strong. Exactly. No one will
it
do
is. It
anything
is.
unless that pain point is strong enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. How
Yeah.
can we interact
Yes.
with you, Adele? What have you got going on? So your call to action.
So my call to action is, I have now created the Menopause Resilience Club, and we have qualified, it's free information for menopause in there, because what I want to do is create a community where women can come to, that's not on social media, so you don't get the notifications, to come and join my community, so you can hear more around the tips, especially as business women, because we can feel quite alone in this world. So yeah, just come and join the community. It's free. All my menopause information is qualified. It's free. And then you can come and see what all the fuss is about. Come and join us.
It's blooming fantastic. Thanks so much, Adele. I'm so
Mm.
pleased that I met you. I'm so glad you were speaking that day at NetFest in your tent on Zoom with our national event. And thank you so much. And I hope you get loads of interaction from this as well. And thanks for your brilliant tips. Take care.
Brilliant. No problem. Thank you.